If you're tuned into mainstream media, you might be wondering why the headlines don't make any sense. Elites tell us that the war on inflation has been won at little cost. But if this is true, then why does your grocery bill say otherwise? We're told that the economy is doing great with 336,000 new jobs added in September. But then why are more Americans working multiple part-time jobs? And why are 60% of us living paycheck to paycheck? This video will help you see that it's all about the narrative. This is the communication system diagrammed by Claude Shannon, the father of information theory. It's the template for everything related to IT. Communication begins with an information source, which is me in this case, and the message is sent through a transmitter, like this video, as a signal. And on the other side, the message is processed by a receiver, your eyes and your ears, in order to reach the destination, which is your perceiving mind or your consciousness. In between these four components lies the fifth element, the medium through which information travels. Historically, we thought it was the luminiferous ether, and then we discovered the electromagnetic spectrum is the medium for audible waves and visible light. This medium can be corrupted by noise, and in our case, it might present as audio static or poor video quality. But to understand noise in this communication channel, we have to go beyond the five senses, because we're dealing with information entropy, which relates to chance, randomness, and statistical uncertainties about the future. So we're accounting for computations like expected values and probability distributions using Bayes' theorem, jargon, which translates to incentives and outcomes. Signal is information about a phenomenon. It's like the narrative, which is a wrapper around the objective truth. So applying this to our earlier example, the event is inflation, and the narrative is that it has been defeated so long as we exclude the things that matter like food, energy, and shelter. It even got checked by community notes. So the signal, truth about inflation, has been effectively corrupted by noise in order to induce a certain perception in the recipient of the message. Why? Let's think about who is sending the message and what they're hoping to gain from it. Show me the incentives and I'll tell you the outcome, as one legendary investor said. Capital facilitates behavior, and that's what it's all about. The money. Money is power, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's how you keep churning, so the system keeps running. And you know what? In some ways, that's fine. It's part of the social contract. We all want a fulfilling life. We all want the American dream, which we've entrusted the system to help us achieve. But the problem is, the system is actually a top-down centralized hierarchy configured to perpetually extract value from the end users, people like you and I. Wouldn't it be great instead if the system created value for the end users? web3 is the template for such a system, and the Archimedes lever is a metaphor to conceptualize this value layer of the internet, a bit like how our founding fathers laid out their vision for America. In web3, every piece of information is a bit like money because it has digital value. The way in which Web2 decentralized mainstream media's monopoly over the narrative by enabling end users to disseminate knowledge, Web3 protocols like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ampleforth decentralize the monopoly over money, which is much needed today as we're inevitably headed towards a debt spiral and hyperinflation. So, during the age of AI and deepfakes, Web3 is where you're far more likely to tune out the noise and tune in to signal.